Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to review this album from the Rutles from 1978. A couple of people have been asking me to review this. I think it's long overdue. This is a spoof of the Beatles, masterminded by Eric Idle of Monty Python fame, and he got together with Neil Innes, formerly of the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, who played the part of John Lennon. Eric Idle played the part of Paul McCartney under the name Dirk McQuickley, and John Lennon's pseudonym was Ron Nasty. And then Stig O'Hara was the George Harrison character, played by Ricky Fattar. And then Barrington Womble was the Ringo character, played by, let me see, drums. I'm looking for the drummer. Can't find it. Ollie Halsall is actually singing the McCartney vocals. Neil Innes is singing the Lennon vocals. John Halsey, that's it, the drummer. And this was a superb project. This is on the Warner Brothers label, by the way. And just ripping the seriousness out of the Beatles story with a lot of humour and with a lot of love. Interesting to see what the Beatles' reaction to this was. John Lennon apparently loved it and refused to return the copy of it that he'd been sent, although he did warn them that Get Up and Go was too similar to Get Back, so they left that off the album actually. And then Paul McCartney apparently didn't like it. It came out at the same time as London Town, this album, and he was constantly asked about the Rutles when he was trying to promote his new Wings album, so he kept on saying no comment. Ringo loved it, and George obviously loved it because he was in the film. George and Ringo, I'm jumping all over the place a bit here. George and Ringo surprised Eric Idle or Neil Innes, I can't remember, or both of them perhaps, by singing the song Ouch from this movie, word for word. So very clever songs written by Neil Innes. They sound like the Beatles, but they are a little bit, probably too close to the Beatles, and actually Apple claimed a joint copyright. So I think on some of the subsequent CDs, not on this one I don't think, the songs were credited to Lennon, McCartney, Innes. But here on this album it's just Neil Innes. There's a TV special to go with this record called All You Need Is Cash, and instead of Brian Epstein you've got Leggy Mountbatten, and I forget who all the characters are, but it's very funny. And Alan Klein is played by I can't remember now, one of the guys who was in Spies Like Us, not Dan Aykroyd, the other one. Anyway, and wonderful spoofs of the album covers. We have Meet the Rutles here, we have Tragical History Tour here, with the track listing, The Fool on the Pill, Lying, Blue Gay Way, Your Mother Should Go, I Am the Waitress, and then on side 2, Hello Get Lost, W.C. Fields Forever, Denny Lane, Abby You're a Rich Man, and All You Need Is Lunch. Sergeant Rutter's Lonely Darts Club Band here, and Let It Rot, the final album, although Shabby Road is also in here somewhere. I think there's a picture, yeah. There we go. George has no trousers on, which they joked was a sign of the dead or something, taking the mickey out of the Paul is dead story. Here is George and Michael Palin here. Quite cleverly disguised. You wouldn't necessarily recognise him unless you're a Beatles fan, and then instead of Help you've got Ouch and A Hard Day's Rut. So this film is basically ageless. All You Need Is Cash. And this song, where they were dressed up in that uniform in the film, I Must Be in Love, is on a par with the early Beatles songs in terms of songwriting. In my opinion, I think it's brilliant. Neil Innes is a talented songwriter anyway, and Cheese and Onions is a very effective Lennon spoof. The camera's not quite straight here, I don't think. Sorry about that. There's various scenes. Some of it's a bit too close for comfort, maybe, particularly towards the split. But it's well handled. You've got Bianca Jagger playing Linda McCartney, and taking the mickey. Eric Idle's on the piano going dee 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 dee, and John and Yoko are in the shower. Ron Nasty is in the shower with his Nazi wife here, basically saying we're in a shower getting wet because we believe the world is no more than an effective sewage system, and we hope to demonstrate this to the world. So nothing is spared. John and Yoko, Paul and Linda, even John's reclusivity, which at the time was at its height, 1978, after the Rutles split in this film. It said Ron Nasty turned his back on the world and shows him running down the hill in a wheelchair. Stig O'Hara became a waitress for Air India, and Barrington Womble opened a chain of hairdressers, and Dirk McQuickley, aka Paul, formed a band with his wife called the Punk Floyd. So wonderful songs on this album. Some work better than others. Hold My Hand is very similar to Wanna Hold Your Hand. Number one, I guess, is based on Twist and Shout. With a Girl Like You is a hilarious parody of Till There Was You, I think, which is maybe even more enjoyable as a song. Must Be in Love, I mentioned earlier, top notch. Living in Hope is the Ringo track. Love Life is a slightly weak parody of All You Need Is Love. And then you've got Double Back Alley, which is similar to Penny Lane, Cheese and Onions, a Lennon piano ballad. Piggy in the Middle based on Walrus. Let's Be Natural, a kind of mystical number from George kind of thing. Get Up and Go, the track based on Get Back, was omitted from this album. So it's a very enjoyable listen. On this CD you have got the extra tracks which were not on the album, like Get Up and Go. Is that the only extra track? Oh, It's Looking Good as well. I think that's the only two. Oh Baby Let Me Be. Not very outstanding tracks apart from Get Up and Go, which is good to have on here. And then in 1996 they came up with Archaeology, the follow-up, which was a pun on the Beatles anthology, same design and everything. And this album is almost as good as the original. I mean, it's got some superb tracks. Rendezvous is a highlight. I Don't Know Why is a highlight. Easy Listening, the Ringo parody, is brilliant. And then Shangri-La, which Neil Innes had performed earlier on Saturday Night Live in the late 70s. In fact, when Neil Innes performed Cheese and Onions on Saturday Night Live, I think the switchboard was jammed with people thinking it was John Lennon, because such was the authenticity of his impression and the style of the song. So I recommend it anyone who hasn't seen this film to check it out. It really is hilarious, and it's an important part of Beatles history, because I think it is important not to take oneself too seriously. And as I said, this is made with a lot of love and superb attention to detail. Even when they were filming Piggy in the Middle, they went out to the aerodrome in Kent with the big blast walls, and they filmed the video for that there. And they also filmed, they went to that hangar where You Mother Should Know was filmed, and there's pictures of the Rutles. There we go, pictures of the Rutles there walking down the steps. And they've got, sorry, did you see that there? And then the Mystery Tour bus is quite severely, that film Mystery Tour is quite severely taken the mickey out of, should we say. So Dirk, Nasty, Stig, Barry, the Prefab Four, as they were coined by by Eric Idle. And Eric Idle is superb as the narrator in the film. It's a great little film. It's not very long, but it's got Monty Python written all over it, really, in its spirit. And this is the album to go with it. So thank you for watching. See you next time.